we all began with God. And God is a tremendous force. I've had many, many people have sessions where they've gone back to when they were with God, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful. Just total love, and they don't want to leave. They always describe it as a bright, beautiful light. Sometimes they'll say it's like being in the sun. They call it the great central sun. And when you're there, everybody is together, and they have no desire to leave. It's extremely beautiful and wonderful. And this is why a lot of people say they feel a great separation when they go off. But this is the way it was in the beginning. We were all one with God. Then God wanted to explore. He wanted to was curious. He wanted to experiment. That's when he burst out in all directions. When he did, all of these sparks flew out in all directions. And when I take a person back to what they really, really are, they're just a tiny, tiny spark of light. That's what you all are. You're just in this vehicle right now, what I call a suit of clothes. This is the costume you're wearing right now to play this part in this play. But your real soul is just like a tiny, tiny spark of light. When these tiny sparks of light flew out in all directions, some of them became galaxies, some of them became planets, and many of them were just the individual souls. And God said, "Go forth, my children, and learn. Learn everything there is to learn. Have experiences, learn lessons, learn everything, then return to me with all of your information." That's why they say there is no bad, there is no good. Everything is energy. Everything is experiences and lessons. So when we all have bad things that happen in our lives, that is life. But I always ask the person, what did you learn from that experience? Sometimes they haven't even thought about that. If you've learned one thing, that was the reason for having that experience. If they say, "Well, I didn't learn anything, it was just horrible," well, guess what's going to happen if they say that? They got to do it again. They failed that grade. You have to do it again, and it'll be with the same people, same experiences, even be harder the next time. Because this is just a school, and it's only one of many, many schools you will attend. But when God sends us out, remember, we're on these adventures accumulating everything we can accumulate. We are like cells in the body of God. But when you're having these experiences, they've said before, it's just a play, it's just an illusion. I've had people, when they've gone through the death experience, they look back and they'll say, "It's just a play. I see all the actors on the stage, they're playing their parts. The people are standing in the wings and getting ready to come on stage and play their part. It's just an illusion. But when I was in it, it seemed so real. But now that I'm over here," he said, "it's like a blink of an eye." That's how quick it is. We get caught up in it. That's why you have to learn to figure out, remember, you designed. It's your play. You're the producer, director, actor, and writer of the script. If you don't like the way the script is written, rewrite it. That's how easy it is to do. Once you understand, you really control all of your life, you control the whole situation. It's your play. And when we come in, we have all these other souls who've agreed to play different parts. And they have meetings over there when you're on the spirit side. Whenever you have gone through your life, you've just died, you go through a part where you do a life review. And you look over the life you have just left. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What should I make amends about? And there's nobody up there judging you. You judge yourself. There's no harsher judge than you yourself. You see what you shouldn't have done. And then you see, I hurt this person. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. So you talk to these other souls. And you'll say, well, we didn't do such a good job. Let's go back and do it again. This time you be the husband, I'll be the wife. Or you be the mother and I'll be the child. You can switch roles away any way you want because it is just a play. And we make agreements. Okay, this is the part I'm going to play. This time I'm going to be the villain. But you'll learn something from it. And you design what your life is going to be like. And I have had this through thousands of people. I know about the planning sessions. I know when you make the agreements and when you're talking to the other souls. And you'll say, okay, I think I'll learn a better lesson if I have this hard thing happen to me this time. And this other soul will say, okay, I'll be the villain. I'll do it to you. Now, on the other side, you may be best friends, but when you come in here, they're playing the villain. And many of them play their parts very, very well, as you all know. But it's an agreement you make before you come in. I'm going to have a hard life this time. But if you look back at it, what did you learn? I have heard stories you wouldn't believe from my clients when they come in. Horror stories about the way people were raised that you wouldn't believe. But when I have the session and I ask, why did they have to have such a hard life? They'll say, they chose it. They set it up. And I said, why? And they said they had to learn to survive. They had to learn how to grow. They had to learn how to forgive. There was always a reason why. And it's very hard. Once they understand that, then they move on. If you don't, you have to repeat it again with the same people. And my clients say, I don't want that. I'm done. I don't want any more of that. I'm out of here. Well, then I said, you better get rid of the karma now. You better forgive them and release it, or you're going to have to come back and do it again. But this is a school you come to learn lessons. The lessons are hard. The hardest part is when you come in, you have your plan. This is what I hope to do. And this is all the contracts I've made with all these people of all the parts they're going to play. Then you come in, you forget it all. The veil comes down, and you can't remember anything. I had one woman going through the birth experience, and she said, I got to remember. And then she's born, and she said, I don't remember anymore. And I asked them one time, wouldn't it be easier if we knew why we were here, if we knew our connections with all of the other people in our lives? They said, no, if you knew, it wouldn't be a test. If you knew the answers, it wouldn't be a test. The ETs have said we are the only planet in the universe that forgets when we come in. The rest of them know their contracts, they know their connection with God. They are very close to Him. We forget because we chose to do that. This is, like my daughter said, the most challenging planet in the universe, the most challenging planet in the solar system. Because to come here, you really wanted to learn a lot. It's very, very difficult. You come to Earth to learn emotions and limitations. So you choose it for that reason. But what I've found is, well, when you're making your plan, see, Earth is not the only school. You have to take all the grades before you graduate and finally go back to God. Earth is not the only school. You have schools on other planets, other dimensions, and many of you have lived lives on other planets and other dimensions. I've had many, many sessions where they have told me about lives in other dimensions. And who knows, after you graduate from this school, maybe you decide, I'm going to go over here and live a life in this other galaxy. Different rules and regulations. So it's an ongoing thing. Earth is just a very, very difficult one. And I've had them, they've come from the source, the God, and they're busy creating planets, they're creating galaxies. Many of you have done the same things. You were co-creators This is how powerful you are, and you forgot. You can create galaxies. I've had some of them when they created the oceans on the earth. If you were powerful enough to do that, and now all of a sudden you forget your power, but they're having so much fun doing all of that. Living as a free-floating spirit, creating and having fun like that. Then they're on the spirit side and they'll say, you know, it's time now for you to go and start an earth existence. And they'll say, I don't want to do that. This is much easier. I don't want to be stuck in a body. It's dense and it's heavy, it's yucky. I don't want to do that. And they said, well, it's time for you to start your school. And I've had some of them actually cry, I don't want to go. I don't want to go down there. I don't want to do those things. This is much more fun to be up here. But no, it's time. But you agree to do it because, you know, it's part of your advancement. So, okay, once you sign the contract to start on the Earth School, you have to do it all. And believe me, it's not easy.